everyone, Kelly here. And about a week ago, I did a video where I talked about how I organized my books this year, and I changed the way I did things on my bookshelf and my TBR cart in order to kind of reflect my 2021 goals of reading from my shelf, finishing my series, all that. And what I did in that video was showed you guys all the standalone books that I haven't read yet on my shelf, and asked for you to pick which ones you think I should prioritize. And that way I can make up a list of the 21 books that I want to finish in 2021. So obviously I'm going to be reading more than this because I want to finish my series, and I'll probably read some other of my standalones. But I really want to make sure I prioritize the books that you all think I should read and get to. So I ended up with the comments in that video, ended up with a list of actually 22 books. And so I picked one that I just don't know if I can commit to this year, and I'm going to use that as my honorable mention. So my honorable mention is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. And the reason I'm going to make this not like have to be done in 2021, because it is a really big book, like almost 800 pages, and I just don't want to like commit to this because you'll see coming up there's a couple other big classics in this list that I want to make sure are priorities. So this one is not one of the 21 books, but if I get inspired to pick this up, I will try to, but I'm not going to commit to reading it. So now on to the 21 books that you all voted for, and I'm going to start with the ones that got multiple votes. And all of these, it's pretty obvious why they did. I mean, they're some very famous classics and then some really popular contemporary books. So it totally makes sense that all of this made to the list. So the first one that got the most votes, no surprise, is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I'm sure everybody knows what this is. And I do really want to get to this book. I've been meaning to reread this for years now. I had read this when I was like fairly young, like in my lower 20s, and I didn't like it. But at the time, I was not reading any classics. I was only reading like top bestsellers, fast-paced kind of thriller books. And so now that I can appreciate a more slower paced book, I really do want to pick this one up. So this will definitely be a priority because so many people said they wanted me to read this one. Obviously, it's a favorite of a lot of people. Another one that got several votes is North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. This is another one that I really do want to get to because I loved the like miniseries, the like 4-part miniseries of North and South, and so I think I will really adore this book. So definitely on a top priority. Another one with multiple votes was Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. This is, like I said, these are very popular classics, so it makes sense. I definitely want to read Jane Eyre because I am in more of that gothic mood now, and so I think this will actually be one I'll pick up soon because it has the gothic feels. It'll probably be great for winter time when it's still dark out early, so this is definitely a priority. And then I had a couple others that got, I think they only got like 2 votes, but still very popular ones, like My Cousin Rachel by Daphne du Maurier. I just read a bunch of short stories by Daphne du Maurier, and now I am like super hyped to read one of her full-length novels, so definitely excited about that one. And then Big Little Lies by Liane Moriarty. Pretty obvious that this one would also be voted for since this is like very popular thriller, and I've heard it's more like a thriller / drama, like a parent drama. So now that I have kids, maybe I'll find this more interesting because it has like parent relationships as well. And then another one that's not a surprise is A Man Called Ove by Frederick Bachman, and I believe this is one of those that has like a curmudgeony old man and, you know, who meets somebody that makes him less grumpy or something like that. I have no idea actually what this book is about, other than it has a grumpy old man in it, and it'll probably make me cry or something like that. And then the last one that got multiple votes was Things You Save in a Fire by Catherine Center. This is a contemporary about a woman who is a firefighter and moves to a new town, and then it's kind of like a boys club. So it's about her job, but then I think there's also romance and some stuff with her family and stuff like that. Like I think she's there to help with her mother who's sick. So I think this one will be a really good one. So the rest of these might have only gotten like 1 vote, but maybe somebody else mentioned them or things like that. And all of them are actually ones that I'm really excited about. So you guys pick some ones that I'm really looking forward to and hope to get soon. The one, the next classic ones, because I already talked about all the other classics, is a big one. This is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. And this is like the biggest book I own. And this is why I put Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell off of this list for now, because I do want to make this my priority. I've been meaning to read this book for, I don't know, 20 years? I started it 20 years ago and had to put it down because at the time I had a really busy job and I just didn't have the time for a book this thick and to devote time to it. But now I feel like with a lot of time indoors that we have spent in 2020 and now 2021 is probably going to be similar for a while until things start getting back to normal. So yeah, I want to do this. I'm actually probably going to buddy read this one with Kara from Wild Book Garden, so that'll hopefully like push this to actually happen this year. I'm very excited. And then I had a couple contemporaries that were chosen. The Truth Commission by Susan Juby, and this is one that's interesting. I'm very interested in this one because I've only heard one other person talk about it, but it is kind of like a fictional book that is based off of like narrative nonfiction. So I think that the people in this book are part of a school and they are writing this like story in the form of a narrative nonfiction. So it seems like it'll be a weird format and things like that, but I think it'll be fun. Oh, there's even some illustrations in here. So I am excited about something that's a little differently formatted. I have a YA novel, which will help with all these other like really big ones. I have The Names They Gave Us by Emery Lord. I think this one is a little bit more of a serious young adult book. I think that this main character, yeah, her mom has cancer, and I think that the girl goes off to camp that is specifically for kids that are going through tough times. So I think this one will have a lot of serious topics. And then next I have When the Moon Was Ours by Anna Marie McLemore. I think this is another young adult novel, and I'm excited to be reading this because I want to find out if their writing is for me. I read Wild Beauty last year and it was just a little too flowery for my taste, but I liked the story. So I want to give this author one more chance and just kind of find out if their writing is too much for me. Like sometimes the writing is just too fanciful for me. So I thought one more chance. I own 3 of their books, so I would like to read this one so I know whether I'm excited to continue reading their books or if it's time to just unhaul the rest of Anna Marie McLemore's books from my shelves. And then I had a couple sci-fi books. So first, The Humans by Matt Haig, which I am so excited that this one got picked. So I had read his memoir called Reasons to Stay Alive last year, and I really liked it, and I liked his style. He's kind of funny and things like that, and he was, talking about real life. And so I kind of feel like his humor is going to bleed into his regular fiction, which makes sense, but then I also think there'll be mental health issues as well, since that was what his memoir was about. And so I am really excited to read this book, so I'm glad somebody picked that one. And then the other sci-fi book that was picked is All Our Wrong Todays by Elon Mastai, and I believe this is one that's kind of deals with the multiverse. I think there's like a man who gets like sent to an alternate reality, and things are a lot different with his family and career and the woman he loves and all that stuff. So it's always interesting to read those books that involve like different universes and stuff like that. So I'm interested in that one a lot. And then I had a couple historical fiction, and I just noticing that they are both by the same author. So they could be good or bad. So like it could be that I pick one up, read it, and if I like it, then I'll be excited to pick up her other book. And if not, then I'll be unhauling both. But I guess that'll be fine either way, whether I find a new favorite author or whether I just get rid of them all off my shelf. And that author is Ruta Sepetys, and I have both Between Shades of Grey and Salt to the Sea. I'm not sure which one of these I should read first. Why don't you let me know down below which one of these you think I should start with. I actually can't really tell you the descriptions about either of these because I just hear people talk about this author all the time. So I bought a couple of her most popular books, but I really don't know what either of them are about, except for I think this one's about a ship, obviously, with the ocean. And, I hear mixed things, but then I also hear a lot of great things. So let me know which one you think I should start with. But yeah, I'll probably get to one of these at least in February, since there's the Historathon happening in February. So historical fiction will be happening in the month of February. And then I had one nonfiction picked, and that was Audrey Hepburn, An Elegant Spirit by Sian Hepburn Ferrer. And this is a biography that's written by her son, and it's got a bunch of gorgeous pictures. So it should go fast because there's so many pages that are full of pictures. So I have no reason why I haven't picked this up because I've owned it since I was in college, which is quite a ways away now, so I should just pick it up and read it. I just don't often tend to pick up coffee table books and actually read them, but obviously this was written to be read, so I should read it since it's not going to have that much actual writing in it. And then lastly, you guys picked several books from kind of my gothic fiction / atmospheric reads genre that I had on my shelf. I just kind of created my own genre of books, and I am super excited about it because I've been in a serious mood for gothic fiction, and I kind of just want to take a month coming up, February or March, and just read all of these books. There's 5 of them that you chose, and read them while it's still dark and dreary out, and that way I would get a lot of these books off this list, and I'm just really excited about these, probably the most of all of them. So here they are. I have The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of this one. It's very popular. And then The Forgotten Garden by Kate Morton. And I had tried to read this a couple years ago. I was buddy reading it, and we both kind of fell off because we were doing other things. And so I think that Tia from Tia and All the Books and I are probably going to buddy read this again this year. So we'll have to set up a time to actually do this. And this is, I think, multi-generational story that I think will involve a lot of secrets and stuff like that in families. And then I have Black Rabbit Hall by Eve Chase, and I think this is also one with a bunch of family secrets. A woman who gets passed down a house, and there's lots of secrets in the house from her ancestors and stuff like that. And then I have The Winter People by Jennifer McMahon, and this is probably also another one that she usually writes multi-generational stories with secrets involved, multiple timelines, so I'm sure this is another one like that. So yeah, a lot of them with the same themes that I'm super excited about. And then The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. And the reason I have been putting off reading this one, because I've heard amazing things, is that I wanted to read Jane Eyre before I read this one, because I heard that it has a lot of elements from Jane Eyre in it, in the story, or a lot of references to Jane Eyre. But since Jane Eyre is on this list of books that I have to read this year, then it makes sense that I can finish Jane Eyre and then pick this one up. So those are the 21 books that I definitely want to read this year. My plan is that instead of just saying I'm going to read 2 of these a month in order to finish, is that I kind of want to make these top heavy towards the first half of the year, so I don't get to October and then I'm only in the mood for thrillers, or December and I'm only in the mood for holiday books, and I have all these books that I haven't finished that I said I was going to. So I think I would really like to kind of focus on these books over the next 6 months and make these my first priority whenever I go to pull a new book off of my bookshelf. If it's not a series, then these will be the first ones. Or if I do a readathon, these will be the first books that I pull from for any of the prompts. So that is my plan, to try to focus on these books. If you want to buddy read any of these, as you saw, I already had a couple that I am planning on buddy reading, but if you saw any in this video that you would like to buddy read in the next 6 months, let me know, because I definitely want to focus on them, and having a buddy read set up helps me to know I have to read that book in that month. And so yeah, that's it. If you want to talk about any of these, let me know if you love them or which ones that you liked the best, whatever. You can talk to me down in the comments, and I will see you next time. Bye.